morning, everyone. So today I wanted to do what do I want to call it? A book, my favorite books. I want to say it's like a book, what is that called? When people go, book club. We could do a little book club and I could tell you guys what my favorite books are. I wanted to do this video for a while, I just haven't done it yet, but now I am, so whatever. But I've been thinking about videos, and I really want to do this because I enjoy books so much, and I love talking about them and hearing other suggestions for books, so yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And today kind of seemed right because it's snowing outside, so usually when it's snowing I want to make some coffee and curl up on the couch and read a book, and so it just seems so perfect. Sorry I sound weird again. I got sick like last night. I don't know what happened. I just all of a sudden I started getting a sore throat and my nose started getting stuffed up, and then today I woke up and it was just the same. And I just got over my other sickness, but I guess I'm sick again. I don't know. Which kind of sucks because I'm going in to take my test this week. Well, I'm going to take practice tests at my school, and then I'm going to go take the written test again. So that kind of sucks because I was sick last time, and I think that kind of threw me off a little bit, but whatever, I guess. I mean, I just get more practice, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, let's just jump right into it. So, the first book I have is on my Kindle, and it's dead, clearly. But, in high school, I started to read, let me find it. I read this because my friend gave it to me, and she said, you have to read this, you're going to love it. So I read this, and it's called Go Ask Alice, and it's about a girl who, I just read, yeah, it's the right one I was thinking of. Okay, so it's about a girl who is really just like a good girl, and she wants to be popular just like everyone else. I mean, if you're not popular and you're like me, then you would understand how this girl feels. And she wants to be popular, and she makes this friend, and her friend was like, oh, come to this party with me, and they basically play a Russian roulette game with drinks, and in 5 drinks there was LSD, and then in other drinks there wasn't. She got one laced with LSD, and that started her train onto drugs and basically ruining her life. And in the end of the story, it's very sad, and it kind of leaves you empty feeling, but I think it was very well written. It keeps me very interested, and I don't know, it just started my love for books, so it's all because of this book that we're even talking about this right now. So I think that's kind of cool. So then it started me on this book that I'm going to tell you about. So if you're like me, then you would probably already have read it, or it's one of your favorites, or I don't know. But it is called Crank, and it's about a girl who goes to her dad's for the summer, and she hasn't seen her dad for a very long time, and he lives in Reno, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Reno. And she hasn't seen him for a very long time, and she is one of the smart girls. Excuse me. But she goes with her dad, and she meets this boy. And this boy is doing the monster. That's what they call it, the monster. Because it really is a monster. It does everything that happens in that book. So, the monster is crystal meth. And she tries cocaine, and then she tries crystal meth, and then she can't stop. And then she goes home, and she still can't stop. And she goes in a downward spiral also. And I think I love these kind of books because, I mean, it explains so much. Like, I always wanted to know why people did it and why you would want to ruin your life and give up your loved ones. And it doesn't make any sense to me because if I had a child, I would never want to not be in their life. And to choose something that you know is going to ruin your life and make you choose something over your family or your child, why would you do it? You wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. So you have to be a pretty selfish person to do that, I think. And I don't want to start any controversy or anything, but I mean, I'm just saying my personal opinion. I mean, you can think whatever you want, but I think drugs are a terrible thing, and I always wanted to know why people would want to do that. And these books, they explain a lot, and I don't know, it's answered a question that I've always wanted to know, and the way that they're written and the way that they explain it, it's just a thing that I can't explain. It's very cool. But my favorite author is Ellen Hopkins, and she did write Crank, and she wrote a trilogy, so the trilogy goes with Crank, and I have every one of them on here, and I absolutely adore them. I've read them so many times I can't even tell you. I love the way she writes things, because in her books it's not like this. It's not like a normal book. It is like her writing is off center. Like, it doesn't, a whole page could have one word on it. I mean, I love it. I don't know, I just love the way her writing style is. I love the way that she explains things, the way she sets the scenes. I love how relatable it is, and I don't know, I'm in love with it, and I don't know. Okay, next, 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, I loved the first book. The second book, it was hard for me to read because I do this thing where I'm still stuck in the last book, so I can't get to the next book. So I had to take a really long break when I read the second one, and then the same thing happened with the third one. I mean, they were hard to get through because they were so different from the first book, but I do love them. It's not very well written, but she does set the scene very good, and it does keep me interested in it somewhat, but I can't read it like those two books that I just mentioned, because I can read those all day, but these ones I kind of get like, okay, enough now, like, can you change something, can you say something else, like, I do get a little tired of it. But this last book, I was hoping for so much more from it, and it didn't give me what I was hoping for, but I did like it a lot, and I did like the certain parts that I was looking for, but mostly not exactly what I was hoping. I was hoping for more insight into Christian's life, his childhood mostly, but it did give more than I knew before, but not what I was hoping for. Like, I was hoping it was just going to be about him, but she basically rewrote the first book in his eyes. I wanted something else. Like, I didn't want to rewrite. Like, it kind of got boring because I already knew the story, but then it was him telling it, so it was kind of cool. I don't know about it. So, all of these are lovely. I was kind of disappointed about the movie, but I do like it. But I already had my characters, and the people in the movie don't look anything like my characters, and I don't want to talk about that forever, but that was hard too. That was hard. Okay, moving on. So, this is called Room, and my mom made me watch a trailer, and it's called Room, and she found it on Hulu or something, and she's like, watch this trailer, you have to watch it, and I was like, okay, whatever, I guess, and I watched it, and it's about a woman that gets kidnapped, and I was already partial to the woman because I've watched United States of Tara, and she is in that, and my mom says that I'm just like her, so, and we look just like each other, like, I don't know, so I'm just, like, partial to her, and she is the woman in the movie, and she gets kidnapped when she was 17, and she gets put in a shed until she's 27, and she has a little boy with her kidnapper, and her kidnapper visits her every single night, and the little boy sleeps in a wardrobe at night when he comes, and then the little boy calls the kidnapper Old Saint Nick because he thinks he's Santa Claus, because Santa Claus only comes at night and he never sees him. So that's weird. And then she finally figures out a way, when the little boy is 4, how to escape. She's been there for quite a while, which I don't know why she didn't think of a way to escape before, but you never know. I don't know. They wouldn't have a story, I guess. And so she tells the little boy how to escape, they escape, and then you get to see their life after they escape, and it's just a very interesting story, and I'm in love with it. This book I have not read yet. I've read the first chapter, but I'm trying to read this book called C.J. Box, I think. It's, Austin's dad gave it to me to read, and it's about hunting, and so I'm trying to get through that book, but this book, I read the first chapter because I downloaded this app called Goodreads, and you can keep track of all the books that you read, and all the books that you want to read, and you can preview books. So I previewed this book before I bought it, and it is him, the little boy, telling the story. So everything's in his point of view, his vision, like everything is his imagination. It's just him telling you what's happening. And I love it. I cannot wait to read this. It's a wow story. Like, I cried, and it gave me anxiety when I watched the movie. Like, it's a very good book. I'm gonna take a little drink. Look at, isn't it cute? It's because it's snowing outside, and he's a little s'more snowman. Isn't he cute? I love him. Okay. This one is called They Cage the Animals at Night, and I had to read this in high school, my senior year, in my English class, and it's about a boy who, his mom is really sick, and his dad's gone, and he has three brothers. He has an older one, a little one after the older one, and then him, and then a younger brother. And his younger brother, he has medical problems. I don't think it ever says what they are, but he can't walk and he stays in a bed all day. And he lives in a home somewhere. It's been a while since I've read it. So his brothers aren't old enough to take care of him, and this is a true story. His brothers aren't old enough to take care of him, and his mom is really sick, and they're trying to pay for their other brother in the home, and they take him to a Catholic church of, like, no, it's a Catholic orphanage. Yeah, that's what it is. And there are these nuns that are so mean, and they don't tell him how to do anything, so he just has to figure it out, and if he doesn't figure it out, he gets whipped. And then sometimes he goes to, some people try to adopt him, or they take care of him for a little while, and those people are terrible. They physically and mentally abuse him, and the nuns do the same thing, and the only thing that he counts on every night is at night the nuns let the children go pick out a stuffed animal, and they get to sleep with that stuffed animal. So the first night he was there, he picked up a stuffed animal, and his name is Doggy, and the way they explain him is like, he's very, very cute, and he's a little loved on, but he's very cute. And the little boy talks to him while he goes to sleep, and they just build this bond that only a child would have with a stuffed animal. I mean, the way that they explain it is just heartwarming, and he looks forward to seeing Doggy every night. And then the reason they cage the animals at night is because that's why the book is called. They take the animals in the morning and put them back in their cages. And so every night he gets Doggy, and then he finally breaks Doggy out of jail, and he keeps Doggy with him, and it's a sad story, but I can't explain it. It's just good. It's just good. I mean, you would have to read it to understand what I was saying, but I loved it, and I'm glad I read it. So, one more book, and then I will stop talking. Okay. I read this one in high school also, and it was after I read Crank and everything, and I was looking for another book that I could start reading and be into actually, and I picked this one up in the library. I just thought it was interesting because of this. I just was like, oh, that looks cool, I guess I could read this, and then I thought this was interesting. It sounded very, very similar to Go Ask Alice. So this girl moves from her hometown to, I forgot where she moves to. I want to say Seattle. I think it's Seattle. And she decides that she's going to become a new person, and she's going to stop being the old Cassie, and when she does that, she makes friends with definitely the wrong freaking people. And her friends that she makes at school, the second day she makes them, they go to this guy's house that she likes, and they take LSD, acid. They take acid. And after that, she doesn't stop taking acid ever. And the way they explain this, it's like you're on acid and you're like, holy crap. I mean, it's so descriptive that you're like, did I just take acid? Because it's, wow. And the ending of the book is like heart-wrenching. Like, I feel, if this was true, wow, I feel terrible. And the feelings that it gives you is just like no other book I've read before other than Crank. I mean, I'm attached to Crank, but this one, it caught my eye, and the way that I found it, it just has this value that I can't explain to you because you wouldn't understand even if I did. But I love the way it explains things, and I do like the writer, and she's very similar to Ellen Hopkins, which is everything I could ask for. I mean, I always want to find someone like Ellen Hopkins because I do like all of her books, but some of them are like meh. So I'm glad I found this one. And this author also wrote these two books. I have not yet read these, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be just as good as that one. This one is about, pretty sure she goes crazy. I think she goes to a mental hospital, which interests me so much. Like, anything about mental institutions, like back in the old days and everything, oh my gosh, don't even get me started. Like, I think they're so freaking cool. I wish I could go there and look at everything, and I can't even, like, it's so freaking cool. So, I'm excited for this one. And then I think this one is about anorexia, for some reason. She goes to rehab. So, these are all very good. So yeah, hope you guys like my descriptions and my books. Let me know what you guys read and if you like this, because I enjoy talking about things that I like very much. So, I mean, who doesn't? And I've read all these books in the past, well, other than They Cage the Animals at Night, I've read all of these books in the past year, except for those two new ones that I said I haven't read, and Room. But other than that, I've read all of those books. And so, I just love talking about them, and I would like to do more videos like this. I know if you guys like this or not. Sorry it was kind of long. I mean, there was a lot of books, so oh well. But I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys when I see you next.